Salvete omnes. This is chapter 34, exercise A. We are to compare the following adjectives. So in this chapter, we were introduced to the comparison of adjectives that end in er for the nominative masculine singular, like acer and keller, and liber and miser and sacer and pulcher. And what's different is that their superlatives do not have the suffix issimosaom, but rimosaom. And they add that suffix rimos to the nominative singular masculine form. Also in this chapter, we were introduced to adjectives that end in eus, aom, or ius, aom. And those adjectives form their comparatives not by adding any suffix, because there would be a weird coalescence of vowels that the Romans just did not like. Therefore, we just add the adverb magis for the comparative to the positive. For the superlative, we use the adverb maxime. Also in this chapter, we were introduced to the silly six, where their superlatives have a double L. So those are faculus, difficulus, similus, dissimilus, humilus, and graculus. So let's begin. Number one, acer, acris, acre, sharp or harsh. The comparative will be formed by taking the stem of the adjective, that is, take the feminine or the neuter form, because it's a third declension adjective, chop off the is or the a, it doesn't matter, the letter e, and then acr, that's the stem, and put that stem in the comparative, and then add the suffix ior, like normal. Acrior for the masculine feminine, and the genitive will be acriores. The neuter will be acrios, it'll have the suffix ius, and the genitive will be acriores. Now the superlative, keep in mind, if it has a nominative singular masculine ending in er, like acer, then the superlative, the suffix will be rimus, R-I-M-U-S, aom. So acer, there's the nominative singular masculine form. You take that form, goes there, and then you add the rimus, aom. Acerimus, aom. So we have sharp, harsh, rather sharp, harsh, sharper, harsher, quite too sharp, harsh, very sharp, most harsh, the harshest. Number two, keller, kelleris, kellere, so swift, quick. The comparative, it's formed normally. Because it's a third declension, like acer, you find the stem by chopping off the is or the letter e, kellere, and we get keller as the stem for the comparative. Add the suffix ior for the masculine feminine, and the genitive will be iores. And then the neuter, the nominative, will be ius, kalerios, and the genitive will be kaleriores. It'll be formed normally, like acer. And just like acer, its superlative will end in rimosaom, because its nominative singular masculine is keller, ends in er. So you take that form keller, and then you add rimosaom to get kalerimusaom with a double R. Most swift, the swiftest, the quickest. Very quick. Number three, difficulus, difficile, the opposite of faculus, facile, so difficult, hard, not easy. So you can see faculus in there, it's just ficculus with the prefix dis, meaning opposite of. So it's a third declension, to termination, because it's got its masculine and feminine form here, and it's got its neuter form right here. So its stem is found by chopping off either the is or the letter e. So difficile, It's formed normally, difficilior, difficilioris, and the neuter difficilius, difficilioris. Nothing weird there. But its superlative is, ding ding ding, it's one of the silly six. The silly six have double L's, like the word silly, a double L. So diffic, and then you take the difficil stem, and then add limus, L-I-M-U-S. So it will have a double L, like the word silly. That's why they're silly, and there are six of them. They are difficilus and facilus, similus, its opposite, dissimilus, and then humilus and graculus. They are the silly six. So difficilimus, difficilimus, aum. Number 4, facilis, facile. That's easy. You can see the root is facio. You're able to do it. It's doable. If it's doable, it's easy, right? Difficilus, it's not doable. It's rather difficult. It's hard. Facilis, facile. It's a third declension 2 termination. The stem is facil, es facil. The comparative will be facilior, facilioris, and the neuter facilius, facilioris. And it is one of the silly six. It is the opposite of difficilus. The superlative will be facilimus. It'll have a double L. Facilimus aum. Very easy. Most easy. Number 5, idoneos aum, which means suitable. Now notice that it ends in eus. So it would be idoneos, idonea, idoneum. The stem would be found by chopping off the us, or the a, or the to get idone, ends in an e. If you added the suffix ior, ior, and then ioris, that would be a conglomeration of vowels that the Romans, or at least the Latini, the Latins, the Italians, did not like. Greeks are totally fine with that. Greeks have no problem with that. But the Romans, not so much. So instead of torturing our ears with that cacophony, we add the adverb magis, magis, and then we just decline the positive idoneos like normal to get the comparative. So magis idoneos aum, more suitable, rather suitable. Just decline idoneos aum like normal, but put magis in front of it to make the comparative. For the superlative, just exchange magis for the adverb maxime to get very suitable, most suitable, maximally suitable. Liber, libera, liberum, free. Notice that the nominative singular masculine ends in er, liber, so its comparative will be normal. The stem will be chop off the a or the to get the stem liber, so liberior, liberioris, and the neuter liberius, liberioris. The superlative will be liberimus aum. You take the nominative singular masculine, liber, like celer or acer, and then you add rimus aum, liberimus aum. 7, miser, misera, miserum, the stem, you chop off the a or the because like liber, it's a first and second declension adjective. Stem is miser, add the ior, so miserior, for the masculine feminine. The genitive is miserioris. The neuter, miserios, the genitive miserioris. And then take that nominative singular masculine miser and then add the rimus aum, miserimus aum. Most wretched, very poor, unfortunate. 8, sacer, sacra, sacrum, sacred, holy, or accursed. The comparative, the stem you get from chopping off the a or the it's a first and second declension, 3 termination adjective, so sacra, the e drops out, sacra. So sacrior, sacrioris, the neuter sacrius, sacrioris. And the superlative is going to be sacerrimus. You take the nominative singular masculine sacer and then add the rimosaum, sacerrimosaum, most sacred, most holy. 9, nobilis nobile. It's a third declension, two termination, nobilis nobile. The stem you get from chopping off the is or the a, the letter e, so nobil, nobilior, nobilioris, and the neuter nobilius, nobilioris. Now, what's its superlative do? It is not one of the silly six. It is not faculus and its opposite difficulus, similis its opposite dissimilus, or humilus or graculus. It's just nobilis. It is formed normally, issimus. So you get the stem nobil, and then add issimus, nobilissimusaum. Very noble, most noble, of high birth. 10 is pulcher pulchra pulchrum, beautiful, noble or fine. So this is a first and second declension adjective, three termination. You chop off the a or the om, like sacer, number 8, to get the stem pulcher, like the English word pulchritude or the adjective pulchritudinous, because the e drops out. But notice that the nominative singular masculine retains the e. Its form is er, pulcher. So the comparative uses pulchrior, pulchrioris, the neuter pulchrius, pulchrioris, but the superlative takes the nominative singular masculine pulcher and adds rimus, pulcherrimusaum. Most beautiful, very beautiful. Similis simile, like, similar to. It is one of the silly six. Its opposite dissimilis. It often takes a dative. It can also take a genitive to mean similar to, like unto, where it obviously sounds like it takes a dative, but I've also seen where it takes a genitive. Utilis also follows this, is beautiful or is useful to, suitable for something in the dative. This is easy for someone. It is difficult for someone. Those all take dative with adjectives. That's their reason. Dative and why with adjective. An adjective that requires a dative or uses a dative to complete its meaning. So similis is like unto a dative, is similar to, but can also take the genitive. Anyway, the stem is simil, so similior, similioris, the neuter similius, similioris. It is a silly six, so it will have a double L. Simillimus aum, simillimus aum. And then utilis, utile, useful. Something is useful to someone in the dative. The stem is util, so utilior, utilioris, and then utilius, utilioris. The superlative, it is not a silly six. It is not faculus, difficulus, similis, dissimilus, humilus, or graculus. It is just utilis. Like nobilis, its superlative will just end in the normal issimus. So the stem is util ad issimus. Utilissimus aum. Very useful. Optime. Very well done. That wraps up for exercise A. You are now ready to move on to exercise B.